So hello guys, it's apparently been a while since my latest video, and I just wanted to get back to you over what had happened in the Capitol. And I know a lot of people have been talking about this, but I frankly wanted to get my opinion because it's a very important thing. I've put off making the video for a couple days because I am too bothered playing Hoi 4, but I will be back on this channel now. There's been important stuff that has been happening in the Capitol, and I know other stuff has happened recently, but we'll get to that. My thoughts on the Capitol are that it was clearly something that was spontaneous. It was not planned. President Trump did not inspire this attack. He didn't do it. Antifa was not involved in the attack. Don't listen to the QAnon boomers. Antifa was like a little bit of it, maybe out of 1,000 MAGA people, there was like 15 that were Antifa, that were like disguised, but frankly, it does not seem like it was a lot of Antifa, and I think the MAGA boomers that are saying that there was Antifa are coping, and it's understandable why they are, because, of the law and order thing, but I think it's very salient to make sure that we make it clear. There was no Antifa, there was, for all purposes, no Antifa, no BLM, no Black Bloc, okay, no anarchist. It was just basically MAGA people. And you know what? We should be proud of this event to the extent that we were trying to rein in the power of the Congress. And frankly, this would have not happened if the betrayal of Mike Pence never happened. And this is what happens when you betray the people and the constituency. Now, there's people that are mad and people condemning over and over again what happened in this day. Your typical Ben Shapiro, people like this. We should not listen to them. Do not listen to Nikki Haley. Do not listen to Dan Crenshaw. Condemning the violence is kind of dumb. Disavowing this is, a little bit of a mistake. Why? You're shooting yourself in the foot. What we have to realize is that on the right wing, we are a consolidated group, or we should act like it, whereas the left, which does not usually punch left, stays always on the track of progress and to screw us over. Whereas if we're fighting inwardly, then we're going to have a problem in facing the left. And his has been a big Achilles heel for the Republican Party. Now, in my opinion, there's too many people that are contradicting each other on Twitter. People like blue check marks that think that they are smarter than the working class. And sometimes that isn't the case. You can honestly tell that, yes, there are some people that died, but of those people that died, only one of them was a cop, and like 4 other ones were MAGA people, so let's keep that in mind. From what I've heard, some guy was pushed off a 50-foot balcony, right, by a cop, I guess. Another woman was shot in the neck while she was trying to break into the Capitol building or something, which is ridiculous because it was a black guy who shot her in the neck, and why would you be afraid of a white woman? Are you kidding me? And that was more or less a murder. And then when you look at the clash between the cops and the MAGA supporters, you can notice that these people are not taking the crap any longer. These people backed the blue on the condition that they would listen to their oath of the Constitution. And if they're going to be protecting the Capitol during a stolen election, then they're not doing their job, right? They're not being moral actors, which in case you should, if you're a cop, get out of the way or do something. A lot of cops let the supporters in because they knew that the government was in the wrong, and people do not recognize this because they are so intoxicated with the back the blue. And a lot of the MAGA boomers that are blaming Antifa are doing the exact same thing that the neocons are doing by disavowing us and endorsing the cops, because what they're doing effectively is saying that there's no way we could break anything. No, we couldn't break anything. That's anarchy. That's communism. You can't do that. No, yes, we can. And look, do I condemn violence? Well, it depends in what scenario. Condemning violence in all cases is stupid. Why? Because in society, we have a societal contract, right, where it is, you give the police, the military, the government a monopoly on violence in exchange for critical rights such as a clean election, a non-fraudulent election. They did not live up to their promise, and then when they failed to act upon their 12th Amendment rights, their Electoral Voting Count Act rights, they clearly did not do what they could to fix the election, to correct it. And by that I mean that they did not send back the fraudulent electors to the state legislatures or reject them unilaterally like Nixon did in 1960. What this goes to show is that they did not do their job. They did not fulfill their end of the contract, so their monopoly on violence has to be taken back until they prove that they know what the hell they're doing. So that means that you're going to have riots and protests by people that are patriots. People that are in the Capitol are waving American flags, Gadsden flags, America First flags, Trump flags, because they're patriots. There's some people that, bring Confederate flags, which in my opinion is dumb and tacky and gay, so stop doing that. That's a bad look. And again, there's accusations of people bringing swastikas. I don't think that's true. I never saw any. So again, people are saying, oh, I condemn the white nationalists and neo-Nazis getting into the building. They're not doing that. Where's the white nationalist? Where are the Nazis, okay? And plus, if these people were so extreme, why aren't they killing any politicians? If you claim that, oh my God, there's people with guns in the Capitol, well, why don't you expect any of them to kill anyone? And they didn't end up killing anyone with a gun. The only death was a guy who hit a cop with a fire extinguisher, and he only died like days later. So the point is, though, is that again, backing the blue unconditionally is a very stupid move, and a lot of people need to give up on that. And a lot of MAGA boomers will still protect the blue, and I don't believe that's the case. And a lot of people are saying F the police. Nick Fuentes said F the police, and I sort of agree. Emotionally, that makes perfect sense, because the police have betrayed the American people. They're not doing their job. What I've recognized is that the police are a vassal of the state or whoever controls them. The police lack their own individual authority, their own individual choice, which then leads them to enforce stupid rules like COVID rules. And this is one of the stupid rules where it says, along the lines of, you shall protect the Capitol at all costs, when in fact the Capitol and the people that are in it are betraying the country. So again, people should not be arrested too. If you got into the Capitol, you should not be arrested, depending on what you did, of course. But look, what did they end up doing? They broke some windows. They stole one podium. They threw papers around. Somebody stole Nancy Pelosi's laptop, which is a good thing, by the way. Maybe we'll find stuff that's illegal on it. And people want to talk about my principle. Well, in principle, Mike Pence cannot unilaterally throw out the election. Okay, have it stolen? Okay, thanks, Thomas Massey, Rand Paul. Or you look at people such as Ben Shapiro or others that'll say, well, if you technically break federal law, you should go for several years in prison. Okay, so while it's not enforced for the other side, you want it to be enforced here. And you know damn well that the FBI will prosecute every one of these people because they hate right-wingers, whereas when you look at BLM, most of them got away with it, and that's a big problem. And people tend not to notice. And again, there's major cases in this country of riots, and they go around without condemnation by the left wing because they're smart. Okay, so when the left wing condemns what we did in the Capitol and the right wing does it too, that effectively kills it. And that's not the point. The point is to stand up for your side, not unconditionally, but in most cases you probably should. And people that are like Ben Shapiro are backstabbing little faggots because they are using your money, they're using your viewership to build off of their wealth. And then for what? Will they back you up? No, they won't. And you know what? People are saying that Donald Trump betrayed us. I don't think that's the case. He never wanted to storm the Capitol. He never said it. People will gaslight you into saying that Trump screamed about voter fraud, which led to people doing this. You know what? Just because he did that does not mean that he wanted people to violently enter the Capitol, okay? And even if they did, that'd be fine. And, depending on the circumstances, of course. But again, these people are not evil. And these MAGA people are in the right. And when you look at the Trump response, he didn't really mess it up, okay? People are saying, oh, Trump betrayed us. Trump really messed it up. No, he didn't. Look at the fog of war. So basically what had happened is that he did not know Mike Pence was going to backstab him. He did the speech. Then at the end of the speech, turns out Mike Pence did backstab him. So then a lot of supporters left, and he didn't know why. He just assumed it was cold. So a lot of those supporters went, and they tried to storm the Capitol. Now, that's not his fault. He didn't say, go attack the Capitol. He said, march with me to the Capitol. That's what he said. He didn't say, oh, march with me to the Capitol. We're going to enter it. No. So again, stop gaslighting people. He did not say that he wanted the violence. And even if he did, I don't care. And look, Trump did send the National Guard, apparently. There was fake news saying that it was Mike Pence. Apparently it was him. So he did what he could to stop the violence and such. So I don't see why you would blame him for inciting a violent mob. And for the people that say that he betrayed the people that did the mob, First of all, it'd be political suicide for him to back up the mob publicly, number one. And number two, I think that the people that apparently got allegedly betrayed will still like Donald Trump next week. Why? Because they're loyal. So he doesn't need to pander to them right now. What he needs to do is salvage enough political clout so that he can still control the Republicans later on and not be completely disavowed and thrown away like trash like they did to, let's say, Romney. Okay, so again, this is not a big case of perhaps of betrayal, but more so optics. And again, optics are important for right now. And who knows if Trump pardons these people? I don't know if he will. I think he should. A lot of them, at least. Free Yoba. And as well as, again, people are, creeping on social media. People are trying to post their things on social media of them at Nancy Pelosi's office, which is a rookie mistake, and it's naive because these FBI agents are looking through people's social media for proof that they were at the Capitol, and they're trying to arrest a lot of people. And this is a big problem, a big problem. And in fact, I do believe that when we're looking at certain cases like this, it is really important to figure out who's on your side and who isn't. Now, there's been massive arrests. That's too bad. And that was to be expected, but, small price to pay for salvation, okay? This is a big deal. I feel like, in terms of what this led to, on January 6th, it led to a reawakening of a popular surge in America. It led that, with a little bit of, with no push, with no actual declaration of attacking the Capitol, Trump could still somehow get people to completely break it in, which is very impressive. So if Donald Trump had officially said go to the Capitol and attack it, it'd be destroyed right now. So that goes to show. And these people will gaslight you into saying that Donald Trump advocated for it, and he frankly didn't. Then other people on the far right, the black pillars, the black beaners like Pedro Gonzalez, will say that, well, Trump betrayed his base because he condemned violence. Well, look. He had to, politically, number one. Number two, he still said, I know how you feel, and this is what happens when you rig an election, and I love you. That's basically what he needed to say. He said, you know what, this is explainable, this is understandable. But again, politically, optics-wise, wink, wink, get out. And again, that's what needed to happen. The whole point of this was to go into the Capitol and show them that we had the balls to do it. That, you are one iota, you are one step away, you are 1 hour away from having your shit kicked in and running into the basement like a bunch of little rats that you are in the Congress and in the Senate. And they deserved it. And you know what? I'm not going to shed a tear for Nancy Pelosi. I'm not going to shed a tear for Mitch McConnell. Crying Chuck, Chuck Grassley, who cares? I don't give a shit, So this doesn't matter too much. And again, people are going to say that that this was unjustified, but it definitely was. People are going to say, what did this accomplish? What did this do? Oh, well, look. First of all, one thing that it did accomplish is just to recognize we did poke the bear, but the point is that we did poke it. The bear didn't think we would be able to poke it, and we did. And they're scared now. And they're going to, kick our teeth in, as John Doyle has said. But again, that's going to be good for the long term as more people wake up and realize that the police are not on our side. For the most part, the police, the state, is not on our side. The deep state extends further. The FBI is not on our side. The CIA is not on our side. The State Department's not on our side. The EPA is not on our side. The DOD is not on our side. Okay, so get out of your, sand hole, or, get your head out of the sand and finally notice that just because they didn't stop the steal doesn't necessarily mean that they did not alert half of the country to the steal. Okay, so they did do some of it. Half of the objective was fulfilled, and that is a good thing overall. Now, when you look at certain cases of them storming the Capitol, you might see violence, and you know what? That's too bad. But again, the cops should get out of the way. The cops should know what they're doing, and they should say, you know what? These Congress people do not deserve it. These congressmen and women are corrupt as hell, and they don't deserve the respect of being protected, because these fuckers did not protect you, and they did not protect your election. They simply did not. And it's a little bit of a shame to notice these people completely disavow it. I don't think they should disavow a thing. And disavowing only hurts our side, okay? So stop it. Stop disavowing it. Stop disavowing it. Say, you know what? It's a shame that officer died, but it's also a bigger shame that more MAGA people died. They didn't deserve to die. Alicia Babbitt didn't deserve to die. So again, Also, though that woman that got shot in the neck is more innocent than any unarmed black person that the media covered as purportedly murdered by a cop, okay? That chick was more innocent than George Floyd, more innocent than Trayvon Martin, more innocent than Michael Brown, more innocent than Rashard Brooks, more innocent than Jacob Blake, more innocent than Breonna Taylor. Okay, so shut the hell up. Because frankly, these people are not on our side. These people are not on our side. Ben Shapiro is a grifter. He does not care about you. You know, Matt Walsh might pretend to be based, but he's still kosher and controlled. So he's not good. Okay? Now, people like Nick Fuentes have had a mostly good point on this, and that is to say that we should not condemn it. We should not blame it on Antifa. That was not Antifa. That was us. That was MAGA. Okay? That's it. You know? And for the people that weren't there, like me, again, we don't have an obligation to go ahead and go there every time. But the point is, though, is that these people that went had serious balls, okay? And people that say, this will ruin Trump's legacy. Who cares? This isn't about Trump's legacy. This is about the country, okay? Who cares what they say in the textbooks? That's not what we're focusing on right now. What is to be focused on is what happens now and today. That's the point. Now, people might disavow, but the point is still standing that this was a huge win. Win. Now, if we look at the response, a lot of people, a lot of my friends even, say that, well, this protest ruined the objections. It ruined the Stop the Steal. No, it didn't. As you could see, before Trump even finished his speech, at 1 p.m. exactly, I think, Mike Pence has said, more or less, that he's not going to use any powers in question to stop the steal. All he would do is listen to the objections. That's it. And you know what? In terms of that, Mike Pence was the only thing. The Pence card was the only card we had left to play. That's the thing. Now, if you were to look at, for example, the issue with the objections, okay? We never had the 50 votes to contest it jack shit. I mean, frankly, come on. This is ridiculous. We were never going to do that. The point of the objections were to say, we have objections from these states to overturn the election, and Mike Pence can now punt it to the House delegations, okay, or he can punt it to something else, or a contingent election, or to do something, okay? Frankly, that did not happen. So whether or not there was 10 objections or 35, it doesn't matter. As long as we're above 5 objections and below 50, that the outcome would be about the same, okay? And to the people that say that we should have not lost the objections between the what they said and promised on the record to what happened just now, okay, yeah, we should not have lost him, but at the same time, Mike Pence should have not backstabbed us, okay? The blood is on the hand of Mike Pence, okay? Judas Iscariot Pence, all right? Now, if you look, we had about 11 to 13 senators that pledged to object, including Kelly Loeffler and Perdue. And you know what? I will make a video about this on its own. But the point is, though, is that a lot of these people that promised to object only did it to ward off a primary. They don't actually care about the election. They don't care about Donald Trump because they resent him because they're losers, okay? Now, we did lose objections like Langford. We did lose objections like, I believe, Braun. Like, who else did it? Marsha Blackburn, etc. But these didn't matter, okay? These were irrelevant. Whether we had 6 objections or 13 or 10, it didn't matter. As long as we had objections from enough states, like Georgia, like Arizona, like Wisconsin, then we didn't really need objections from Tennessee or from Wyoming or from Idaho, okay? So get that through your head. And also, this proves as a double loyalty test. It goes to show who, even after the Capitol was sieged or whatever, are willing to still support the president's effort at election integrity. And those people that passed the test, as far as I know, is still, I think, Roger Marshall. I still think it's Tuberville, and I still think it's Ted Cruz with Josh Hawley. That's who we have. And if Blackburn wants to throw us under the bus, if other people want to throw us under the bus, that's the case. And yes, did the optics get a lot worse because of the Capitol protest and the riot? Yes. And you know what? Who cares? You know why? Because if we want, the optics only mattered up until January 6th. The only optics of whom matters at this point is President Trump. President Trump's only goal at this point is to make sure that because he's going to leave on January 20th, I'm almost completely sure, that he needs to make sure that he has a consolidated Republican Party behind him. That's literally it. There's nothing about, well, my approval went down. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It only mattered before the steal happened. And you know what? It happened, and they played us. And you know what? Whatever. Point is, though, is that these senators don't have balls, okay? That's it. That's it. So to the people that say that this riot ruined the objection, it did, like, halfway did, dilute it, but at the same time, it wouldn't have made a difference either way, okay? This is like saying, you wasted half a tank of gas going to these errands, and you're going on a road trip from, like, Alaska to New York, and it's like, either way, on a full tank, we were never going to get there. So, I mean, it's the same difference. Same thing here. Even best case, we would have not have been able to stop this deal because Mike Pence had already backstabbed us. And again, this is all on Mike Pence for betraying the American people. He said, and he implied, more or less, that he was going to stop it, that he was going to do what he had to do to count every legal vote and get rid of all the illegal votes. And he didn't do it because he is a traitor. And because of that reason, we need to primary people, and we need to reconsider who we trust. As you can see, the Republicans were much more consolidated and powerful in the House, and that's a good thing. You know why? Because the House is better at representing the American people. It is more democratic. But then when you look at the Senate, they are more rhinos, more establishmentarian than the House, which is weird, right? And kind of, in peculiar, kind of interesting to notice. Now, so my takeaway from this, in summary, is to say that no more condemning what happened at the Capitol. It wasn't that bad, and it was completely justified, in fact. And there's no tears from me about to come out for Nancy Pelosi, crying Chuck Schumer, Senator McConnell, Senator whoever, okay, because they betrayed us. Okay, that's one principal thing that happened. Now, if we were to look at, again, the objection thing. Ever since Mike Pence tweeted out that he wasn't going to support us flipping the election or whatever, it was done. It was over by then. Everything else was theater for the most part. Okay? So the objection thing does not matter. When we look at, for example, the optics. The optics shouldn't matter. The optics are bad in part because certain Republicans, like Nikki Haley, like Dan Crenshaw, like Ben Shapiro, are disavowing the violence. We shall not disavow the violence. We are the party of law and order, yes, sure, but that law and order also adheres to the morality and the laws of the Constitution. And you know what? If law and order includes allowing the steal of an election, if law and order also includes bullshit COVID rules, then we should break them because those laws are retarded. We should only follow laws that are righteous, that are reasonable, and that are constitutional. These people are not doing that. They are not fulfilling their promises, okay? For example, the governors did not fulfill their promise to certify a clean election. The secretaries of state did not fulfill their promises in signing on canvases and certifications of the elections because they were not clean. And the Congress did not do its job in clearing up and fixing and correcting for the fraud that happened after the governors and the secretaries of state broke their oaths to a clean election. Okay? And because people did break into the Capitol, who cares? That's what you asked for. You get what you fucking deserve. You know why? Because you broke the rules and are mad that we broke them to resuscitate democracy. That's the thing. So again, people, don't disavow our own side. They are the ones in fault. The establishment should not be defended, even if it's like, well, technically, the Constitution, Section 2, defends Nancy Pelosi's right to steal the election. Nah, screw that. Screw that. And to the fake populists that are disavowing, including, Sagar and Jetty, the Indian, you know what? Those people aren't on our side. They are liars and they are grifters. Ben Shapiro is a liar and a grifter. He just wants to take your money. He's not really on our side. He wants to see you all arrested. All the people that were in D.C., he wants all of you in jail. He wants you to rot in prison, in federal jail. You know why? Because he doesn't care about you. So, no more tears shed. I'm not going to defend Ben Shapiro. I'm not going to defend the establishment because they deserve what they got. And they're lucky none of them got killed. Not that I'm endorsing that, but the point is, though, is that they really disenfranchised 75 million people that voted for President Trump. It could have been more, could have been less, but the point is, though, is that they screwed over the country royally. And for us to have
3 hours in the Capitol to do what the hell we want is just a small price to pay for what the hell they did to us. Okay, so yeah, okay, we stole the gavel, we stole her laptop. Okay, really? Is that a big deal? Okay, and let's hope Trump pardons a lot of these people that did break into the Capitol because they didn't do nothing. Alright, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Apparently, YouTube is disenfranchising people like Red Eagle and myself, so go ahead and subscribe if you have not. Maybe it did unsubscribe you from the channel. I don't know. Thank you and goodbye.